Great stuff. All right, so let's have a look now at building some routines that will help you to start identifying opportunities to integrate into your customers' businesses. Find opportunities where you can indeed become an additional resource, because once you do that, forming partnerships with them becomes simple. All right, first thing is you want to ask yourself, or should I rather say, try to answer the following questions, right? First question is, what daily, weekly, monthly routines are you going to use to support you to integrate into your customers' businesses, right? Now think about that. When and I mean, nobody understands your industry, your markets, your customers better than you do. So think about your industry, your markets, your customers, and now start to say, what routines? I mean, would it be a good idea to develop maybe a checklist, right? A checklist that every single time you arrive at a customer, you quickly tick off that checklist and make sure that if there are any opportunities for you to integrate or become an additional resource, that you'll be able to easily identify them. So what morning routine, daily routine, routine before you arrive at your customers, afternoon routine when you're planning for the next day. Think about everything that you do in your day and try to figure out a system, a process, a method that'll help you to consistently to identify ways to integrate and become an additional resource to your customers. Next, you want to answer the following questions, right? So let's think about those questions. Now, first one is, how can I find opportunities to utilize my differential advantage to integrate into my customers' businesses, right? So start off by having a look at your differential advantages. But now here's a little caveat, something to remember. Remember, you don't have a differential advantage over every single customer, because certain things you do better than some of your competitors, and whether you want to believe it or not, your competitors do certain things better than you. So what you need to do, and I would highly recommend you do this exercise, is go and have a look at your top 10 competitors. If you have that many competitors in the marketplace, go and have a look at your top 10 competitors and do a comparison and say, okay, so what do they do better than us? What do we do better than them? And then once you understand your differential advantage, next question you want to ask is if you're targeting a prospect, a future customer who is currently supplied by one of those competitors, you have a very good idea of what your specific differential advantage is. Now the question you want to ask is, how could you use that differential advantage as an opportunity to integrate into your customers' businesses? Now, as I said, your markets, your industry, your customers are completely different. You know them best. So have a look at them and keep asking yourself the question, how can I use my differential advantage to integrate, to find opportunities to become an additional resource at my customers? Next, how can I set the tone for cooperation? So think about that now. What do you need to do, right? When we're talking about setting a tone, that starts off with your language. What language are you going to use? So we're going to use language, long-term language, partnership, mutually beneficial. Those are the words that we're going to use. So we're going to set a tone, and we are constantly going to be reminding our customers. You know, it's no good saying, I'm looking for, or the best kept secret, should I rather say, should not be your willingness or your desire to integrate and become an additional resource to your customers. Because when you play open cards and you tell them how much you'd like to integrate, you want to become an additional resource, very often your customers themselves highlight opportunities where you can do that. Next question I want to answer is, what innovative product or service solutions can you use to integrate into your customer's business? So think about some innovative, maybe you've got some really innovative products. Maybe you've got something that is completely unique, something different. How can you use that as an opportunity to integrate into your customers' businesses? So think about what you do different. What do you do special? What do you do that makes you really stand out? And we're talking here specifically around some kind of a new innovative product, Maybe you've got some kind of artificial intelligence software, or you've got an online system that really simplifies, or maybe you've got a business intelligence tool, or what have you got? What product, what service have you got that completely separates you, differentiates you, and gives you a golden opportunity to find innovative ways to integrate into your customers' businesses? Next question you want to ask is, how can I become an additional resource to my customers? Now remember, it sounds so basic, but the more you ask that question, you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself the question, what can I do? Every time just before you arrive at a customer, you constantly focus and you ask the question, what can I do today to integrate into this customer's business? Just before you go to bed, ask yourself the question, what can I do to integrate into all my customers' businesses? What you're effectively doing is you're programming your brain to start searching, identifying, coming up with innovative and very creative ideas to integrate into your customers' businesses, right? Next question you want to ask is, how can I innovate and find proactive ways to simplify placing orders with my organization? So think about it. Now remember the hairdresser with their hair dye supplier who arrived and actually did the stock take. Remember the guy with my overhead crane who contacted me to let me know. The guy, when I had my factory, I used to have a photocopy machine. They would contact me every 6 months to remind me about the service that I had to have. So what can you do to simplify the process? What can you do to create a proactive method that simplifies the process that your customer has to go through to do business with your organization? And how can you use that as a way to integrate, become an additional resource to their business, right? What specific insights or needs will help me to integrate into my customers' businesses? Now, this is where you need to go and think, what questions do I need answered? What information do I need to find, to identify opportunities to integrate, to become an additional resource? Do I need to create a checklist? Are there 10 questions that would be, once I answer these 10 questions, would I be enabled to integrate into my customers' businesses? So you know your markets, you know your customers, you know your industry best. What system, what process, checklists, whatever it might be, what are you going to do every single time you go to a customer to make sure that you are looking, identifying, searching for ways to become an additional resource in their business? How can I add additional levels of service as a way of integrating, right? So think about it. You're constantly looking for ways to add value. What other service, what other things can you do? What other additional ways of adding value in the form of additional service, in the form of other things you can do for your customers? What other service-related issues can you use to identify ways to integrate or become an additional resource in your customers' businesses? How can I build trust at 10 out of 10? Because remember, in order for you to integrate into your customers' businesses, your customers have got to trust you. Because integrating into your customers' businesses is a very deep relationship. It's deep connection. And if there isn't trust, it's very, very, very unlikely that your customer will ever encourage or ever allow you to integrate into their business, become an additional resource where you can form a partnership with them.